saying simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately.
Hello and welcome to WolfPack Media. I'm your co-host, Benaiah Husemann. Today we are doing another episode of WolfPack React. We are going to be reacting to Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada's meeting between Donald Trump in the Oval Office today. Did they get any further on trade negotiations? Are we going to get an end to this trade war between Canada and the United States? Stick around for the rest of the episode if you want to find out. Also, the other day on Trump's Truth Social account, there was a picture of him dressed as the Pope posted. Now, I don't know if he posted this himself, but it's been getting a lot of backlash, needless to say. From the internet, people on the internet, liberals screaming about it, maybe some liberal Catholics that are upset about it, and the media has really went into a frenzy over it the last few days. This is Donald Trump responding to a question about that.
Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from.
See, that's what I guessed originally, is there's no way Trump actually posted that himself. He's got people running his page or whatever, and I guess he just thought it was funny.
Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?" Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account, even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme.
Come on,
Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on
Give me a break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you?
Exactly, and that's why I love Donald Trump. He's not all serious all the time and politically correct like these people want him to be. And that's why he's president. That's why 77 million people voted for him, because he's anti-establishment. Now, this is Trump being asked about his meeting with Carney before it happened.
Your expectation for your meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister tomorrow?
I don't know. He's coming to see me. I'm not sure what he wants to see me about, but I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does. They all want to make a deal because we have something that they all want. We have something that they all want. China wants to make a deal very badly. You see what's happening to China?
Now, I think this is Trump just even pre-negotiating, making it well known that he is the A side, right? People come to him to negotiate. They come to the United States to negotiate if they want to take part in the world's biggest economic superpower and they want to benefit from that. Well, the United States is the A side and they have the cards, and that's what Trump is doing here. This is when Carney gets to the White House and Trump first greets him. I want to play this video because there's something interesting at the end that I noticed.
Trump greeting the Prime Minister of Canada.
Mr. President, are you close to a trade deal? Canada, as you meet the new Prime Minister, sir.
Do you see Mark Carney's weak fist pump at the very end trying to copy Trump? I thought that was hilarious.
New Prime Minister, sir.
Yeah. So I think Mark Carney wants to come off as in a position of power and a position of like he's going to stand up to Trump. And that's basically what won him the election, right? Him beating Pierre Poilievre. He made his whole entire campaign about standing up to Trump and the tyrannical tariffs that Trump was imposing and how he was going to stand up. And there's a little bit of that before his meeting with Trump.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is over.
So basically him acting like a hard ass, saying, "Oh, our relationship is over." All right, but yeah. This is Trump when he first greets him. We'll take a listen to this.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take a vote. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning, so I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine.
I don't know if I sensed a little sarcasm there at the end. I think so, maybe some playful sarcasm. But Trump is doing what Trump does here. He's acting nice. He's acting invitational. He's lathering Mark Carney with compliments, and I think he's doing this. I think it's actually a strategy on Trump's behalf, where he is trying to get Mark Carney to lower his guard, to make him feel comfortable, and then that's when Trump just swings full on punches. And yeah, this is what, so there's just a massive difference between a stark contrast between Carney on the campaign trail telling the Canadian people that he's going to stand up to Trump. What was his adage, elbows up or whatever, and how he wasn't going to let Trump push Canada around. And this is the reality of the Carney that the Canadian people ended up getting.
Thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, providing...
Securing your borders? I thought that wasn't important. Focused on the American worker? I thought Trump didn't care about the American worker, and he was buddies with a bunch of rich oligarchies. And he had created a rich oligarchy with all these billionaires. Interesting.
Ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids.
Oh, I thought that fentanyl wasn't an issue. I thought we didn't have... Isn't that what the media was trying to say? We didn't have a fentanyl issue? And
securing the world. And I've been elected with my colleagues here, with the help of my colleagues here. I'm going to spread the credit to transform Canada.
Transform Canada? Aren't you doing exactly what Trudeau was doing with the carbon tax and trying to switch over to a completely carbon-free atmosphere, quote unquote, zero carbon emissions? You're doing exactly what Trudeau was doing, right? That's what I thought.
With a similar focus on the economy, securing our borders, again on fentanyl, much greater focus on defense and security, securing the Arctic and developing the Arctic. And the history of Canada and the U.S. is we're stronger when we work together, and there's many opportunities.
Oh, I thought you just said that the relationship between Canada and the United States was over, and that you could do it yourself, and that you're this independent, powerful nation. And now you come back to Trump and say, "Oh, I believe that us working together is the best case for us. Makes us stronger." Huh. You notice how he completely flipped the script when he's actually confronting Trump.
To work together, and
because he doesn't have a choice at the end of the day. The United States is the world's biggest superpower. There's no way Canada was going to survive a trade war. He just had to act like he was going to stand up to Trump to win an election, and that's all that was. It was basically they needed to replace Trudeau with a figurehead that didn't get caught with this slush fund of laundering all this money, so they had to replace him with somebody else that was going to say the same phrases, and he was going to act like he was going to stand up to Trump, but when it came down to it, this is who they got.
Look forward to, addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation so we can move forward.
That's great. Very nice. Thank you very much. It's a very nice statement.
No, I think Mark Carney actually thought that this was going good, and I think this is where he realizes that things started to go downhill. This is him responding to Trump, reaffirming his idea about Canada becoming the 51st state.
Respectfully, Canadians' view on this, and is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
See, the conflict is, and this is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very.
I think he was maybe referring to Zelensky there.
Very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada, and we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking we want to make them ourselves. I mean, I said, and if the price of your cars went up, or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you? He said that would mean the end of Canada. He actually said that to me. And I said, that's a strange answer, but I understand his answer. But no, I mean, it's hard to...
And I think the Trump's point here is like, hey, if we're not subsidizing you to the tunes of billions upon billions of dollars, paying these massive tariffs on these products that we don't even need, the only reason we're buying it is to benefit you as a country, to get you, because we want to be friendly to our allies and help them out where we can. But at the end of the day, why does the taxpayer have to foot the bill when we're in this massive trade deficit with Canada? To what? To subsidize them? We don't need their cars. So what Trump is saying, hey, if you can't survive as a country, and I'm seeing the bigger picture here, if they can't be economically independent, then what's the point? Right? And that's the point that Trump's been trying to make the whole time, and I don't think people really understand that.
Justify subsidizing Canada to the tune of maybe $200 billion a year. We protect Canada militarily, and we always will. We're going to, that's not a money thing. But we always will. But, it's not fair. But why are we subsidizing Canada $200 billion a year, or whatever the number might be? It's a very substantial number. And it's hard for the American taxpayer to say, gee whiz, we love doing that. Thank you very much. We're going to have a very substantial...
And that was the point I was trying to make right there. Like, if you can't function without us having to subsidize you, you might as well become a state. And I really think Trump's just saying that as negotiation tactics for them to back down on their tariffs. That's what I think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but that would be my interpretation of what's actually going on if you read in between the lines and don't just look and read the headlines saying Trump claims to take over Canada, dictator Trump trying to take over Canada. You have to read in between the lines. You have to do your own research, and you have to understand why he says the things that he says, because he doesn't say things just to say them. I mean, sometimes he does, but I'm talking more primarily when he's talking about trade and other countries. And he says things for a reason, right? He says these things, and he does things to get these other countries to come to the table. And so far, it's working. What is Mark Carney doing here today? He wants to make a deal, and he needs to make a deal. The United States doesn't need to make a deal. And Trump is making that abundantly clear, and we'll see here, and we'll see right here. I think he's really making a point here.
Tariffing Canada, is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No,
Why not?
just the way it is.
Tariffing.
Yep, and that's kind of the exclamation point to the end of it. The United States does not need to make a deal with Canada. Canada needs to make a deal with us. And I think Carney came there to make a deal. Carney came in there to keep his campaign promise of standing up to Donald Trump. I believe he failed miserably. And the fact of the matter is he was never going to be able to stand up to Donald Trump. Canada isn't a world superpower like the United States is, so they don't have the cards, they don't have the leverage. Donald Trump is the A side, they don't need to make a deal, but Canada needs to make a deal, and they don't make concessions, then there's going to be no deal to be made. The United States isn't going to be the one that's making concessions, and that was made abundantly clear. That was my interpretation of what went on today, but if you guys have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments what you think actually went down. Do you think that the United States needs to make a deal with Canada more, or does Canada need to make a deal with us more? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like on the episode. That helps us a lot in the algorithm. Also, if you want to join the pack, subscribe to the channel.